a newly released fact sheet, bearing striking similarities to the Heritage Foundation's project Esther, an initiative aimed at suppressing U.S. support for Palestine, has sparked significant controversy. Critics express deep concern that a recent executive order from the Trump administration, ostensibly designed to combat antisemitism, coupled with this fact sheet's suggestion of deporting international students who protest Israel, could severely chill political. The fact sheet, disseminated prior to the president's signing of the executive order, included a quote attributed to President Trump. "To all the resident aliens who joined in the pro-jihadist protests, we put you on notice. Come 2025, we will find you, and we will deport you. I will also quickly cancel the student visas of all Hamas sympathizers on college campuses, which have been infested with radicalism like never before." While the executive order itself doesn't explicitly mandate deportations, the prospect of cracking down on student protesters involved in pro-Palestine activism has emerged as a key promise in Trump's 2024 campaign and a central talking point among right-wing factions in the U.S. Republicans have consistently framed protests against Israel's offensive in Gaza as expressions of support for Hamas, advocating for punitive measures against UNIVER. This strategy aligns remarkably with Project Esther, a right-wing strategy document targeting the pro-Palestinian movement alongside other perceived threats. Days after Hamas's October 7, 2023 attack, which triggered Israel's retaliatory campaign in Gaza, then-Senator, now Secretary of State, Marco Rubio urged former Secretary of State Antony Blinken to revoke the visas of students protesting Israel. In a letter to Blinken, Rubio labeled pro-Palestine protesters as pro-Hamas and called on the federal government to perform a full review and coordination effort to revoke the visas of those who have endorsed or espoused Hamas terrorist activity. The connections between Trump and the Heritage Foundation are numerous and well-documented. James Carafano, a senior advisor to Trump and co-chair of the Heritage Foundation's Antisemitism Task Force, has openly, in a December 30, 2024 op-ed in the Washington Examiner, Carafano wrote, "Project Esther is a blueprint to save the U.S. from those utilizing antisemitism to destroy it. The key to combating today's antisemitism is recognizing the ecosystem in which it thrives. Politically and financially powerful funders support a network of organizations that recruit activist followers that commit the anti-Semitic activities we see every day, including March." However, Project Esther notably omits any mention of far-right antisemitism, despite the presence and activities of neo-Nazi and white nationalist groups within the U.S., contradicting the Heritage Foundation's pledge to deploy all available resources to combat the scourge of antisemitism in the United States. Furthermore, several organizations identified by the Heritage Foundation as partners have publicly distanced themselves from the project. Advocates for Palestinian rights are also deeply concerned about the potential revival of legislation passed by the House of Representatives last year. This legislation grants the Secretary of the Treasury the authority to revoke the tax-exempt status of nonprofit organizations deemed to be supporting terrorism. This measure faced widespread condemnation from the nonprofit sector, which expressed serious concerns that it could be weaponized to target Trump's political appeal. The potential for misuse and the chilling effect on free speech and association are significant causes for alarm. The similarities between the new fact sheet and Project Esther, coupled with the broader political context, suggest a coordinated effort to suppress dissent and silence pro-Palestine voices, raising serious questions about due process and the potential for abuse of power. The ambiguity surrounding the definition of support for terrorism is particularly troubling, given its potential for broad and arbitrary application. The lack of transparency and the potential for political manipulation further exacerbate these concerns, underscoring the urgent need for greater scrutiny and accountability. The situation warrants careful examination to prevent the erosion of fundamental rights and freedoms within the United States. The potential for misinterpretation and the chilling effect on legitimate political expression demand a comprehensive and nuanced response that prioritizes due process and protects the rights of all citizens, regardless of their political beliefs. The potential for the conflation of legitimate political protest with terrorism poses a substantial threat to democratic values and the principles of free speech and association. A thorough review of the legal framework and a commitment to ensuring transparency and accountability are crucial to safeguarding these fundamental rights. This situation demands a balanced and informed approach, one that avoids generalizations and recognizes the complexity of the issues involved. The potential for disproportionate consequences and the chilling effect on legitimate political activity necessitate a robust and carefully considered response. The implications extend beyond the immediate context and raise questions about the broader balance between national security and civil liberties. A robust and open dialogue is imperative to navigate this complex situation and protect fundamental rights. The need to engage in constructive dialogue and find common ground is essential to ensure a fair and equitable outcome.